Hi everybody, welcome. This is a short maintenance flow that I often use just to do some self-practice at home. So you'll just kind of follow along with me as best as you can. Bearing in mind there's minimal instructions. I'll give some instructions as we go along, but for more of a structured kind of working through your process and through your asana, check out some of the other videos where we break things down a bit more and we take some time. So like I said, just a maintenance flow that I often use for my own practice, and it kind of covers all the bases: standing poses, some back bends, and just kind of keeping everything well oiled and limbered up. All right, so without further ado, I always start in Adamukavirasana, just taking a second to kind of pre-configure the lungs, so stretching the arms forward, making sure your buttocks stay on your heels, forehead down onto the floor, and just starting to breathe. So finding a nice long inhale and exhale. To feel out the intercostal muscles, kind of warming up the lungs, and just checking in where you might feel a bit of discomfort, a bit of pain, stiffness, tightness, whatever it is. So this is just that pre-configuration, or just warming up a little bit. The hands are pushing down, the arms are straight, we're rolling the shoulders out. So the shoulders are also getting a bit of a warm up here, warming up and stretching and into the hips a bit. Legs getting an opening, so it's a good all-rounding position. Without straining the body, we can slowly start to just feel things out. Cool. And then we're going to come onto all fours. We bring our knees and feet to hip distance apart now. Curling the toes underneath, hands slightly ahead of the shoulder line. We lift up and come into our down-facing dog. So lifting the hips up high, pushing through the arms, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Try to let the head be loose and relaxed. Pull the kneecaps up as you lift the front thigh up onto the bone, taking the backs of the knees either up towards the buttocks or down towards the heel, depending on what you need. You can obviously work to do both of those actions. You can also float your toes and bring them down. Keep pushing strongly through the hands. Feel that really nice opening into the backs of the legs, and drop the armpits down to get a bit of shoulder warm up going on. Awesome. Okay, and then we'll walk our feet forward, come into a gentle forward fold, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Just let the body hang forward and down once again. These 3 preliminary postures are just to feel out where you are, how your body's feeling this morning or this afternoon, and warm up a little bit at the same time. So just getting a sense of things before we get started. Although obviously this is part of the practice. Releasing the hands down, bending the knees, hands to the thighs, push yourself away from your legs, coming all the way up into a standing posture. Cool. Alright, so standing towards the front of the mat, setting ourselves up in Tadasana Pose. You want to have the feet together, ankles, heels touching if possible, shoulders drawing back and down, pulling the kneecaps up, having the outer thighs moving towards the inner thighs, tailbone tucked, lifting sternum up, and then bending the elbows to bring the hands in front of the heart. Inhale, lengthening up, looking up towards the thumbs, shoulders away from the ears, legs awake and alive. Let me just adjust my watch strap here. So lengthening up, and then exhale, extend forward and down, bending at the knees as much as you need to flatten the hands next to the feet. Inhale, extending the right leg back into a nice deep lunge. Exhale, push back, down facing dog, hips up high towards the sky. Inhale, we come forward to a plank, push-up position. Exhale, if you need to, you can lower your knees down and just bend the elbows until they touch the ribs. Unflipping the toes, straightening the arms, looking up toward the ceiling. So upward facing dog with knees down, and then we lift the knees, we push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward with the right leg between the hands. Exhale as left joins right. Inhale, reach hands forward and up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, extend forward and down. Inhale, floating the left leg back. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, lower the knees to the floor. Bend the elbows just till they touch the ribs. Unflipping the toes, straightening the arms, looking up. Curl the toes underneath, lift the knees, lift the hips. Push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward with the left between the hands. Exhale as right, joins left. Inhale, reach your hands forward and up. And exhale, hands to heart. So the other side. Inhale, lengthening up. Obviously, you don't have to switch sides. I'm just showing from this side. Inhale, stepping right leg back. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. As you become stronger or more supple, you can keep your knees off as you come into your low chaturanga, so elbows just to the ribs. And flipping the toes, also upward facing dog without the knees down. And then exhale, roll back into downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward with the right. Inhale, stepping forward with the left. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, reach hands forward and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, extend forward and down. Inhale, left leg back first. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Just hold here for 5 breaths. So feeling the elevated heart rate, feeling a bit of extra warmth coming into the body and the limbs. Still pushing through the arms, still lifting the buttocks up. Still kneecaps awake and alive. Okay, that should be around 5. So we inhale, step the left leg forward. Exhale, right. Joins left. Inhale, reach hands forward and up. And exhale, hands to heart. So I'm going to work through vinyasa now to transition into some of our standing poses. So with the feet together, we come into Utkatasana. So dropping the bum down, reaching the hands up, draw the knees back so you can see your toes. Then look up at your hands and pull your belly in to point your tailbone down at the floor. Squeeze the knees together, holding for about 5 breaths. So lengthen out of the waist, zip the belly up, squeeze the knees, shoulders away from the ears, and lengthen. Take another deep inhale, and exhale as you straighten your legs, hands to the floor. Inhale, stepping right leg back. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping the right leg forward between the hands. Exhale, drop the outside edge of the back foot to the floor. And then inhale, come up into Virabhadrasana 2. Holding for 5 breaths here. So pushing into the outside edge of the back foot, guiding the front knee to the baby toe side of the foot, bending to a 90-degree angle, shoulders away from the ears, so you can flip your palms over to get that rolling action of the shoulders, and then bring the palms to face down again. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale, bend the front knee a little bit more. That should be about 5 breaths. Inhale, extend the front leg, and then lengthen out and come down into your Trikonasana. So you can rest your front hand, your right hand on your front shin lightly, and push a little bit with the thumb against the inner shin to turn your body open. Push into the outside edge of the back foot strongly. Turn the whole torso. Only look up at your top hand with the bottom eye if it doesn't hurt hurt your neck, otherwise look down to your bottom foot. Okay, you can always obviously have your hand off the shin if need be. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, rebend the front leg. Take your hand to the floor or to a block or a support or even to your knee. And extend the top arm up and over. So lengthening through the top arm, but pulling the top shoulder away from the top ear. Lengthen, extend. Inhale. Exhale, that should be 3-ish. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Deep inhale. And exhale, 5. Both hands to the floor on either side of the front foot. We lift the back heel up, hop the back foot in slightly, straightening that front leg. So inhale, lengthen the undercarriage of the body forward, and then exhale, hinge over your front leg. Pulling up through the kneecap, trying to square the hips relatively towards the front edge of the mat, and folding forward as best as you can. Try to keep a little bit of action in that back leg, so pushing the outside edge of the back foot down into the floor, kneecap awake and alive on the back and front legs. Breathing, use the inhale to extend the undercarriage of the body forward, and exhale to hinge forward and down. Awesome. So we look up now, exhale, bend the front knee with our feet closer together. We inhale, come up into our warrior one. Shoulders away from the ears. You can look up between your thumbs if you have your balance. Pull the belly in slightly. Strong activation in that belly will increase the stretch in the back legs, hip flexor. Shoulders rolling back and down as the palms face towards each other, and you can look up and bend that front knee as much as you're able to with the shortened stance. Take another inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, both hands on either side of the front foot. Lift the back heel, hop the back foot back, and lower the back knee down to the floor, unflipping the toes. Take your right hand onto your right leg and lift the left hand up, coming into a half crescent lunge, and just feeling that extension from the back knee up to the left fingertips. So you want to keep that extension from the knee all the way to the armpit. And then on exhale, we turn the body and we bring the elbow onto the outside of the knee. Hands come on top of each other and we push the palms of the hands towards each other to turn the body into a twist. If you have enough balance, you can always curl the back toes underneath and lift that back knee off the floor. And obviously this is our kind of preparatory pose, or our sort of go-to pose, just to warm up into something like our twisted extended side angle. But in a short sequence like this, it's better to just stick to a twist. So sinking deeper into the hips, driving into that back leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And then we'll bring both hands on either side of the front foot. Deep inhale here, and exhale, push back to downward facing dog. So you can either hold in downward facing dog for 5 breaths, or you can transition through your vinyasa. So inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Okay, good work. Then inhale, stepping the left foot forward between the hands. We drop the outside edge of the back foot to the floor. So repeating everything on the other side. Inhale, coming up into our warrior two. So strong action in the outside edge of the back foot. Shoulders away from the ears, reaching into the fingertips. Move the buttocks slightly forward towards that side of the pose to open across the groin. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Try and plug the arm bones back into their sockets. Deep inhale and exhale. And then inhale, straighten the left leg, extending out, and exhale, coming down into Trikonasana on this side. So you can always adjust your postures as you come into them. Don't feel like you have to stick to the positioning of your feet as it landed. You know, I shimmied my back foot back out a little bit there because I felt like I needed a bit more space. So feel free to adjust as you go. Turning the inner elbows forward rolls the shoulder back on both the top and the bottom arm, and we turn to look up at the top hand. Should be 5 breaths already. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, rebend the front leg. Remember, either elbow to knee or hand onto a block or hand to the floor. Lift the top arm up, roll that shoulder away from the ear and extend up and over past the head. You can look up at your top hand. We can just keep your neck in a neutral position. Strong action in the back leg helps us to turn our body open toward the ceiling. Strong action in the back leg helps to turn our body open toward the ceiling. Inhale and exhale, both hands on either side of the front foot. Hop that back foot in slightly, turning the toes out a little bit, almost to point to the outside top corner of your mat. We inhale, lengthen both legs, and exhale, extend forward and down. So try and keep the front foot's big toe mound pushing down, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lengthens you, and exhale, folds you. So it's good to look forward to create this extension in the undercarriage of the body, but try not to crunch the back of the neck, so keep a natural elongation in the back of the neck. Hands down to the floor, or they can be on blocks as well, or you can micro bend the knee if it's really, really hectic to try and keep your legs straight. One more inhale, exhale. Inhale, bend the front leg, hop the back leg back and lower the knee to the floor, unflipping the toes to start with, and just pushing against your left leg to give yourself a little bit of extra lift away from the front thigh. So extending up into the fingernails, a little bit of a tuck in the tailbone, pulling up with the belly to accentuate that stretch in the back leg's hip flexor. And then on exhale, we turn the body, we bring the elbow onto the outside of the knee and hands in prayer position. So you can stay with your back knee down and turn the body in this way. Try and point that top elbow up at the ceiling. Or if you have your balance, you curl the back toes underneath, you lift the back knee up off the floor and drive into the back heel. Straight and strong. So you're turning on the exhale breath and you're lengthening on the inhale breath. Nice deep twist. And then we release both hands down to the floor. Take an inhale breath, exhale, push back, down facing dog. You can stay here for 5 breaths as before, or you can come through on a vinyasa, exhale down, inhale up, and exhale, push back, down facing dog. It's always good to just stop sometimes during a vinyasa flow, to just check in with yourself, with your breath, how you're feeling, how the posture is affecting the body, mind, etc. And then we inhale, come forward, lower our knees to the floor, and bring your hands a little bit back, and then drop your chin to the floor, your chest between your hands, making this curve of your spine, and then inhale, scoop forward, maintaining that curve of the spine, coming into your cobra. So you can always take your hands a bit forward to support this movement if you need to. Otherwise, just using the muscles of the back to lift you up. You can also shift your weight from one hip to the other and roll your legs in so that all 10 toes are down on the floor, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, extend forward. You can bump your rib cage forward with your hands, but try not to put too much weight into the hands. Lengthening and extending. Exhale, that should be about 4-ish. Inhale and exhale, 5. Shimmy back so that at least your head can be on the mat. Arms alongside the body, palms facing up. Inhale, peel the top half of the body up off the floor, shoulders back. Exhale, pull the belly in slightly. Inhale, raise the legs into your locust. So you can keep your hands on the floor, you can lift them up next to you. Exhale, that's 2-ish. Try and think about extending from the hip to the top of the foot. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Deep inhale. And exhale 5, lower down. You can turn your right ear onto the mat and just take a breather. And then bring your forehead back onto the mat. And we'll work into bow pose. So bending the legs, grabbing onto the heels, ankles, flexing the toes to find that natural hook. Flexing the feet, should I say. And then you can point the feet from there once you've got that grip onto the ankles. Inhale, peel the top half of the body up off the floor. Exhale, pull the belly in as you kick the legs. So that gentle pulling of the belly in towards the spine when we're working on our back bends kind of prevents dumping into the lower back. And kind of kick your legs away and then try and get your knees higher, because the tendency is to lift the chest higher or the shoulders higher than the legs. So for me, I'll try and concentrate on getting the legs a little bit higher. You can touch the toes if possible. Now the inhale, lift up, and exhale, release down. And take your left ear to the mat. And just take a breather. So these breathing and relaxing moments between the postures are not superfluous or because you're unfit. They just help you to reset and come to the next posture with a kind of clean slate. Especially with back bends, it's good to have a good level of concentration before you jump into the next one. So forehead on the floor, hands underneath the shoulders. Push yourself up into a kneeling position. If your knees are sensitive, you can put a blanket under there or fold your mat in half by kind of pulling it towards you. Okay. Double up the weight of the thickness of the mat. And take your hands back behind you. Heel of the hand goes onto the upper buttocks, and we draw the shoulders and elbows back. So you can always curl your toes underneath to give yourself a little bit of extra length or height if you're going to go into the full back bend. Otherwise, just move the hips forward, lift the whole side body up as though you kind of got a strap around your back and underneath your armpits, and that's pulling you up toward the ceiling. So strive upward out of the waist, side body long, shoulders back and down, elbows moving closer together. Deep inhale, exhale, and if you're going there, slide your hands down the backs of the thighs, bring your hands onto your heels if that's where you go, but then strive once again to move the hips and the thighs forward, and if it doesn't hurt you, then drop the head back. 5 breaths here. That's 2. Keep lifting the heart up, don't fall into your back. 3, 4, and 5. Hands to the lower back, inhale coming all the way up, and exhale to sit back down onto your feet. And once again, just take a breather. So in a shorter sequence like this, I generally won't do inverted poses, headstands and things like that I feel need a little bit more time and concentration to really let the pose establish itself and settle, but we still do a preparation for headstand or a conditioning for headstand to work the same muscles that will help us to get a good headstand. So we interlace our fingers strongly together, okay, interlacing them at the webbing so that we end up with this triangular shape. Palms are separated, thumbs can touch or be one on top of the other. The elbows are down on the floor, and we want to let the head hang loose. We're going to curl the toes underneath and lift the hips up high towards the sky, and then push into your elbows to move your body through your armpits, through kind of towards the feet. Kneecaps are still awake and alive. Head is hanging completely loose. You can almost try and extend the head down to touch the floor. It shouldn't really touch the floor if your elbows are shoulder width apart. And try and let the shoulder blades take a lot of the weight. So you hold for 3 to 5 breaths here, walk back into a flat plank pose, and work here. So drawing the belly in, taking the body into this configuration just changes which muscles are working so the other muscles can get a bit of a break, but by no means is this an easy posture. If you can't maintain plank, you can always lower your knees to the floor, but always extend your legs back before you lower your knees to the floor, so at least you're getting some abdominal action. Push into your hands and walk the feet forward again. So we do 3 rounds of this headstand prep conditioning. Obviously working into the shoulders and learning that kind of independence of being able to push into the elbows without activating those neck muscles unnecessarily, which is key for headstand. We want to keep the neck long and unimpacted. It should be about 5 breaths. Walk the feet back again, flat plank. So zip the belly up, drive into the heels. Make sure the neck is long and elongated by looking down the space between your hands, your arms, your wrists. Shoulders away from the ears, kneecaps awake and alive. Okay, last round. Push into the elbows, walk the feet a bit closer, and then make sure that the head is hanging loose. So really pulling those shoulder blades up the back, opening the armpits toward the toes is key. Remember, the palms of the hands are still separated, so that we're practicing with that, understanding that this will eventually transition into our headstand. Deep inhale, exhale, push through the elbows, and then walk back into our flat plank. Inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 3. Deep inhale, really drive into the heels, exhale 4-ish. Deep inhale, and exhale 5. So step your knees forward and take your arms alongside your body and come into a sort of fetal position with the knees closer together. Letting the arms drop down, shoulders can get a bit of a rest here, and we can broaden across the back. If you can't get your head to the floor, then just make a fist or 2 pile of fists and just rest in that position there. But optimally, your head down on the floor, you get this really nice stretch and release into the upper back and shoulders. Really using the exhale breath to release unnecessary tightness and tension in the body. Cool. Hands underneath the shoulders. We come up into a seated posture. And we're going to come into some of our forward folds. So we'll start with just extending the legs out. And we'll start off taking the inner left knee tendon out to the side, bringing the heel close towards the perineum, turning ourselves towards our extended right leg. Hands back behind you helps to lift you up and create that openness in the chest. Extending the arms up, and then exhale, extend forward and down, grabbing onto the feet, ankle, calf, wherever you can get. Remember, you can work with a belt here if you need to get that drawing of the shoulders back. So holding onto the foot, shoulders away from the ears, engaging the kneecap, thigh muscle is awake, lengthening with the looking up. We get this extension in the front body, and then we find neutral back of the neck and hinge from the hips forward, keeping the back and front of the body long and open. Try and draw the shoulders away from the ears, and if you're able to go a little bit further without totally collapsing into the front body, do so. And you can always take your elbows out to the side to keep broadness and openness in the chest. Inhales to lengthen, exhales to fold. Inhale coming up, and now we bring that left knee into the chest, Take the left foot over the right, grabbing around the shin with the right hand, left hand back behind us. Inhale, pull yourself up towards your legs, and exhale, twist towards the left. So try and keep both buttock bones down on the floor. Try and keep that extended foot animated without being sort of too contracted. So just make sure that it's pointing upright, lifting up out of the waist, and exhale, twisting on the exhale. So it's a useful thing to divide the spine up over your breaths. So you can inhale into the lower back, exhale, twist there, inhale into the middle back, exhale, twist there, then into the upper back, exhale, twist there, up into the shoulders, exhale, twist, and up into the crown of the head, and then exhale, look over your shoulder, so that you realize that you sort of compartmentalizing the spine in that way to make sure the entire spine is being articulated, and not just the parts that want to move. And then drop the chin to the chest on an exhale breath. Turn to face towards the front. Extend both legs forward. I'll just change around to the other side. Obviously, you don't have to do that. So we're going to take the inner right knee tendon out to the side. Bring the heel into the perineum. So we draw the leg out to the side as opposed to bringing the knee up to the chest. It just gives us a little bit more openness in that groin. So once the heel is close to the perineum, hands back behind us, we try and keep that knee down as best as we can. Lengthen out of the waist, turning towards your extended leg. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, extend forward and down, grabbing the foot, ankle, calf, or holding onto your belt. So once you've got a grip, make sure the shoulders aren't creeping up. So you want to draw those away from the ears. We want to prevent too much rounding in the back by lifting the body up and kind of bringing the lower back in and lifting the front chest up. So make sure this leg is extended, awake and alive. Kneecap is fired up, thigh muscles online. And we're thinking about extending the underneath of this leg toward the heel as we contract it, the top part of the leg in towards the hip. So lift and extend forward. Remember, inhale lengthens and exhale extends. Good. Inhale coming up. Now you can bring the knee into the chest. And you can take the leg over, the foot over, the right foot over left, and grab onto the front of your shin. So I find this grip, of the arm and leg together helps. As I push this lifted leg's buttock down, it kicks back against the arm, and that helps to pull me upright. It's a nice tall position before going into my twist. So right hand back behind you, inhale, lift up, and exhale, twist to the right. Remember to try and maybe articulate the spine, so inhale into the lower back, exhale, twist from there, inhale into the middle back, exhale, twist from there, inhale into the upper back, exhale, twist, inhale, shoulders, exhale, twist, inhale, crown of the head, exhale, twist. Keep your extended foot awake, pointing up toward the ceiling, but it doesn't have to be a hard flex. And I always find if I'm in a posture where I don't need to balance, it's nice to just close my eyes and feel the posture from within. Just, dedicate some of that visual bandwidth towards the proprioception, that tactile sense in the body. Drop the chin to the chest, turn to face towards the front, draw the flesh out from underneath the buttocks. Nice deep inhale, lengthening up, and exhale forward into our Paschimottanasana. Nice kind of neutralizing posture, realigning all of the muscles along the back that might have gotten wriggled around or overstimulated on one side or the other through the twists. So thinking about keeping your feet slightly apart if you've got quite tight backs of the legs, or if you're able to, you can bring your feet together. So often we'll draw the flesh of the buttocks out before we come into our forward fold, but even once you're in your forward fold, you can actually take one hand at a time, pulling the flesh of the buttocks out, and you can see as I'm doing it, it actually helps me to fold even a bit further forward into that forward fold. just be conscious of how your legs are responding, and make sure the inside edge of the thigh is kind of rolling down so the knees point up toward the ceiling. And you can use your feet as a kind of diagnostic. So if the inner arches of the feet are falling towards you, then try to lengthen the inner leg or flatten the feet. That should roll the legs in. And you can also use your hands to hold the outside edge of the feet to get that same action. So when we initially start into our Paschimottanasana, we've got a strong flex of the feet, activation of the top edge of the leg to help pull us forward. But the knee tends to lift up a little bit. So in time, you can soften the foot and kind of half point, half flex the foot, while still keeping the thighs and the knees engaged. This will soften the calf and enable you to drop the back of the knee down a bit more and lengthen the back of the leg a bit more. Inhale, lengthens, and exhale, we fold. So there's obviously reasons for a lot of these instructions to keep the front body open, etc. But they're all guidelines. If you feel like you need to kind of soften the head a little bit, get a bit more extension in the back of the neck, by all means. If you feel like extending the front body forward gets you more stretch in the back of the legs, cool, do that, But try, the ideal really is just to not round the whole spine, because you can even try this yourself by rounding the spine. There's nothing really happening in the legs. So rather keeping the spine straight and hinging at the hips, we get a good stretch in the back of the leg and we develop strength in the back. All right. And now time for Shavasana. So we just shimmy a little bit forward. Okay. So we can lie down onto our mat and just hug your knees to your chest. So this is a good way to just also release any tension in the back. You can shimmy a little bit from side to side, front and back. And then you're going to, keeping your knees bent, release one foot at a time down to the floor. Extend your legs out. Let the toes flop out to the side, push into your elbows. Tuck your shoulder blades together and let the arms come down. So if you're doing a home practice, always include a Shavasana. It really just is the digestive pose, the pose in which we metabolize everything that we've done, and where we can practice relaxing the body intentionally, consciously. So use your inhales and exhales to release unnecessary tension in the body. You've done the work now. Allow the breath to deepen slightly, so a slightly longer exhale will help you to release tension in the body. You can breathe into the eyes, allowing the eyes to soften and drop back away from the eyelids. Just swallow any saliva you have in your mouth and drop the jaw slightly without letting the lips part. So the tongue can be relaxed, the throat can be relaxed. Allow that relaxation to spread from the dropped jaw into the side of the face, drawing the ears within slightly, relaxing the muscles of the forehead, the temples, the scalp. And using the breath the whole while to inhale into an area to take attention there, and exhale to release any tension in that area. So inhaling into the scalp, exhale, breathing out as the skin and muscles of the scalp relax, relaxing the neck, shoulders, relaxing into the upper back. Breathing into the shoulders as you feel them rise, and then exhale, relax down the shoulders and the arms, the elbows, forearms, hands and fingers. Breathe into the upper chest, and as you exhale, release the tension down the whole front of the body, softening the belly, softening the front groin. You can breathe into the lower back and release the tension in the lower back and the buttocks, allowing the legs to roll out to the side. Just frees up that femoral artery, the blood flow into the legs, helping them to recover, recuperate. Let the thighs, backs of the thighs be relaxed, knees relaxed, calf muscles, feet and toes all relaxed. Now that your body is relaxed, just feel what it feels like, realizing that to become relaxed, we just let go. We kind of allow the body to soften. And it reverts to the state when we stop actioning it. Try now to breathe into the mind and to do the same thing with the mind. Just let the mind soften, let the thoughts dissipate. And that same non-interference that we've brought into the body, we bring into the thought process and into the mind. So if you're doing your own home practice, obviously you can stay here for as long as you like. What I find useful is putting a timer on my watch or on my phone just for 5 minutes so that I can completely relax without worrying about how much time I'm spending here, or if I tend to kind of drift off to sleep. So if you're worried about time, you won't really be able to completely relax. So, put a timer on and then do your Shavasana that way. To come out of our Shavasana, we just deepen the breath slightly. So reawakening through the breath first. And then we just take our attention towards our arms, our legs, the back of the head, the torso, all resting on the floor. And without too much disturbance to the body, moving slowly, gently, we bring one hand at a time to rest on the abdomen. And just feel the rise and fall of the breath underneath your hands.
Take a deep inhale into the belly. And exhale, side out. And moving slowly once again, just bend the knees. And placing your right hand under the head, roll over onto your right side into a fetal position, drawing the knees and chin to the chest to gently round the spine. And then place the left hand on the floor, go in front of your face and push into the left hand, leading with the left shoulder, keeping your eyes closed if possible, just to come up into a comfortable seated meditative posture. So you're welcome to also stay in a meditative posture for as long as you like. And it's usually a good idea also, after you've done some Shavasana relaxation, to just do a bit of meditation, so taking advantage of that peace and tranquility that you've cultivated. And ideally, the body should be feeling alive but relaxed. And the mind as well, alert and relaxed. Great. Finish off your practice, bringing your hands in front of your heart in prayer position. You can do 3 Oms together, so take a deep inhale, exhale breath. Emptying the lungs completely, then deep inhale. Raise your hands up between the eyebrows, back down to the heart. Namaste. Om Bolo Sat Guru Bhagavan Ki. Cool. So thanks for joining me. I hope that was a useful practice for you. Like I said, this is one of the maintenance flows that I do just to keep everything limbo. And obviously, you can go much deeper if you do a slightly longer practice. So check out some of the other longer, more detailed practices on my site. And I hope to see you all in the future. Have a good day and stay out of trouble.